This past September 27, President Obama signed the Small Business Jobs Act, which extends the SBA Recovery Loans Initiative from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act.
Now, this is important because small businesses produce most of the new jobs in this country. They are the anchors of our main streets. They are part of the promise of America. The idea that if you've got a dream and you're willing to work hard, you can succeed.
And these entrepreneurs are working hard, but times are tough. And for Jorge Vargas, who sells sporting goods, help it's hard to reach.
No creo en ninguno de estos planes que ofrecen.
I don't believe in any of those plans they offer, because when we want to go to the bank or other agencies to get help, they tell us, here are the forms, fill them out, and we'll let you know in a few weeks. And I don't think that works. But we do need help, and more for us, the small business owners, because we move this country's economy.
La economía de este país se mueve por nosotros.
Jorge hopes the new bill will make things easier for them. But judging from the past 3 years, he's not very optimistic.
Llevamos 3 años mal.
We've been in this situation for 3 years, and the reality is that if we were to compare the sales from this year to the sales from 3 years ago, the difference will be 50 to 60%. And I'm not exaggerating. We're only making rent money, barely making ends meet.
Estamos viviendo para pagar la renta nada más y para poder, como dicen, subsistir. Eso es todo.
And for Jorge, although the tax cuts and lower health premiums will certainly help, the ultimate relief can only come from a stronger economy that offers job creation for a high number of unemployed Americans.
Personalmente, para que nos pueda ayudar.
I personally believe that to help small businesses, there have to be jobs out there. While people remain unemployed, nothing will be fixed. If you don't have a job, you don't have money. And if you don't have money, you can't spend. And if you can't spend, you can come buy anything here in my store. Therefore, I will continue with the same issue of having low sales.
De que mis ventas están por debajo.
Well, Ana Harvey, the new law can't go out and find customers for Jose, but what can it do for him?
What we can do is actually help small businesses get the access to capital that they absolutely need. You saw in the piece that really the biggest complaint we hear right now is, I need the capital to actually expand or to hire or to make my business grow. This new act would really kind of loosen up the restrictions that we have in terms of the money that flows down to small businesses. It's important to remember that the Small Business Administration is not a lender. We still have to rely through the banks to actually get the money back to the small businesses. What is important is that we have guarantees. 90% of the loan is guaranteed by the Small Business Administration.
So the bank is more likely to say yes because you're standing behind Jose.
We're standing behind that loan. We have waived the fees that to access those loans, but right now, up to the end of this year, we're actually guaranteeing 90% of the loan. So we're telling the banks, go ahead, we're backing you up here. We are taking 90% of the risk. That should really allow them to look at this small business and say, you know what, this is worth doing. This is really worth doing.
Mauricio, I think a lot of people don't understand why small businesses need to be borrowing money all the time. But if we go into that sporting goods store that we just saw, did Jose borrow the money to have all those jerseys there in stock? Well, is it pretty likely that he's running on a line of credit in order to run his business?
Well, first of all, we need to assess the business plan that they are doing so far, because it's not only a matter of borrowing the money, it's only the fact that how they are going to pay that money back, and how they are going to be sustainable, and how they are going to grow in the marketplace. In addition to this, they need to have goals and clear strategies in order for them to be able to grow and be sustainable in a long-term commitment.
But let's say you have a good idea, you think you have a good business plan. What role does being able to borrow money play in your ability to do business?
Well, as Ana described it, the Small Business Act has been extended to December 31st, 2010. Also, 90% guaranteed loans, which is a real crucial factor when they are going to bring collateral to the loan. At the same time, it's crucial to understand that the role that SBDCs are going to play in the Act is crucial, because we are going to create federal grants to support those small businesses.
But I might add, if you're going to go to a bank to ask for a loan, they want to make sure that the money is going to be paid back. So the preparation that Mauricio is talking about, the business plan, the projections, is this an overcrowded market? Do you have the market? So all those things are going to be taken into consideration by the bank. The bank is not going to say, just that's a brilliant idea, here, have $50,000. So all that preparation will come into play to get that loan. So it's not an automatic, here's the money, go and pursue your dream. It just doesn't work that way. If you remember a couple of years ago, you used to have all these credit, letters that say you have credit for this and $20,000. That stopped. That is no longer the case. Now, every Hispanic business, and I count myself as one of those as I started my own business, I need to get my act together in terms of preparation, projection. How am I going to do this, and how is this going to be paid back? So the bank will feel comfortable, giving me that loan, especially if it's an SBA loan that is just going to be backed, and guaranteed.
Well, yeah, the bank's going to feel comfortable because the federal government's standing behind the borrower.
They're still reluctant to lend.
Well, why is that? Why are bankers? How are bankers explaining the fact that they're not?
They said they're risk averse. Now, they went out and they, tried to reach far and wide, and now with all the meltdown, they're just backing out and say, like, you know what, that's too much risk, especially in the Hispanic community. A couple of things happened. Again, I count myself and I put myself as an example. We start businesses out of drive, desire, and need, but not quite preparation. So if a Hispanic person goes to a bank just with this idea, it's not going to happen. So the freewheeling times that banks used to, and we grew used to with banks, is over. It's over. We need to regroup and get prepared, especially the Hispanic population, because this Job Act is really, really going to unclog a lot of the credit lines, but we need to get ready for that. We really have to get prepared.
Well, the president said a few minutes ago, small business is where it's at, it creates most of the jobs, but sometimes I think that term, small business, is used as sort of a catch-all term to cover a nail salon on Flatbush Avenue with two people who are related to each other, both working there all day, and a big company like yours. Are you a small businessman, Tony?
I am.
How many employees do you have?
Business. I have about 400 employees.
Sounds like a big business to me.
Well, it does till you compare our business with a business that has 35,000 people. And the dilemma that I run into is that small businesses are small businesses till they're big businesses. And a big business oftentimes is categorized as somebody who has more than 10 people. A big business, to be able to compete, has to have the kind of resources that require them to be able to take on the risk that's associated with many of these large contracts. And to get there, you can't get there by graduating from a program that is designed to start you and then go from a program that is designed to start you as a small business into competing with large businesses. So oftentimes what happens is we forget that what we're trying to do with many of these programs is we're trying to build businesses. We're not trying to start businesses. If you start a business and you don't have a plan to allow that business to grow till eventually it becomes big enough to be able to compete with the big businesses, you're really not creating anything except a self-feeding frenzy. What happens is a small business starts, a small business is successful till it becomes a big business, and then it fails because it can't compete with a big business that has 35,000 people. My situation right now is that I do have 400 people, and I've been very successful at growing in the small business. But now I'm concerned about what next. I'm concerned about being able to compete in the large business market for some of the large government contracts or some of the large things that need to be done. And I'm concerned because I've got a program that made me very successful as a small business, but hasn't given me all of the things I need to move from small to medium to large.
Well,